The day I brought my girlfriend home to meet my parents, they got me drunk. And when I woke up, they had handed her over to my younger brother. Later, they knelt before me in tears, begging, "Your brother is disabled and can't find a wife. Please, just let him have this one chance. You're stronger, you're better than him, you'll find another woman, easily. Please, we're begging you." I said nothing. I just took out my phone and called the police. I thought that would be the end of it, but things didn't end there. Later, my girlfriend turned out to be pregnant. Lying on the bed in the bedroom, I stirred from my sleep. My head throbbed. I didn't open my eyes, just reached out instinctively. "Where's Angela?" I sat up, slowly, and looked around. I was alone. Rubbing my aching forehead, I cursed myself. I shouldn't have drunk that much. My head was still spinning. I got out of bed, put on my shoes, and walked through the house. My parents were in the kitchen, cooking like nothing had happened. But Angela, she was nowhere. An unease built in my chest as I opened my brother's bedroom door. "Jason, have you seen?" I froze mid-sentence. He was sitting on the edge of the bed, half-dressed, smoking, and Angela, she was lying on his bed, naked, curled up, tear stains on her cheeks. When she saw me, her whole body trembled. She looked at me with a look so desperate it shattered something in me. "He's not a human being. Your parents held me down. They're beasts. All of them beasts. I couldn't break free, I couldn't." She was speaking incoherently, her voice cracking. Before she could finish, she choked. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her face was drenched in tears. Now that I had seen it with my own eyes, what else did I need to understand? It was like a grenade exploded in my head. Grief and rage surged through me. I completely lost control. I lunged at Jason like a madman. "Jason, you beast, how could you do this? Angela is my girlfriend. She's your sister-in-law. I'll kill you." Jason had lost one leg in a car accident as a child. He only had his right foot left. There was no way he could resist me. I pinned him down and wrapped my hands around his neck. His face turned a grotesque shade of red. "Ethan, what are you doing? That's your brother." My parents rushed in, yanked me away, and stood protectively in front of him. I was shaking with rage. "Mum, why? Why am I not your son? Why are you so desperate to protect him?" My mother looked at me like I was the one who had done something wrong. "She's just a woman. What's the big deal in giving her to your brother?" She said it so casually, as if what had happened meant nothing. "Your brother is disabled. It'll be hard for him to find a wife in the future. But you're different. You'll find another girlfriend. What's so hard about that?" My whole body trembled. I closed my eyes and felt cold seep through every vein, as if I'd fallen into an icy lake. This wasn't the first time. Growing up, they always favored Jason. No matter what, it was toys, clothes if Jason wanted it. They took it from me and gave it to him. If I broke something, they'd scold and hit me. But if Jason tore the house apart, they'd laugh and wipe the dust off his shoulders. Jason raised his eyebrows now. That same smug, twisted look he always gave me whenever he stole something I loved. And now he had stolen the woman I loved most. "Angela is a person, a living, breathing person. How can you treat her like this? You're still not happy." My mother's expression turned cold. "Since Jason likes her, what's wrong with giving her to him? I gave birth to you. I raised you. I gave you life. So why can't I decide what to do with your life? You really don't know how to be grateful." I couldn't believe the words coming out of her mouth. "No, you can't do this. I won't let you hurt Angela." "Watch your tone, Ethan. You're so arrogant now. You don't even listen to your mother. What? Do you want to be an son? Unfilial sons get stabbed in the back and sent to hell." She pointed at my forehead, eyes full of disdain. "I raised you with everything I had, and now, for such a small matter, you rebel against me. You're breaking my heart." "A small matter?" I asked, my voice breaking. I closed my eyes, and all the memories came rushing back. "It's just a toy car. What's the big deal? It's just a pencil. Give it to your brother. Always, always him. But not this time." No, I couldn't give in again. They stood in front of Jason, shielding him. I couldn't get close, so I ran out, grabbed my phone, and called the police again. As I ran, I shouted, "Jason, I want you dead. You're going to jail for this." When the police arrived, I didn't wait. I brought Angela back to my room and locked the door. I didn't hurt anyone. I just wanted to protect her. I held her in my arms, gently murmuring, I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Angela looked up at me, expression blank, her body still trembling. In that moment, I hated myself. Why had I brought her here to this cold, heartless home? Eventually, we were all taken to the police station. Did you call the police? The officer asked, pen in hand. Who raped your girlfriend? My brother. I pointed at Jason. It was him. Before I could continue, my mother interrupted. Officer, how can this be called rape? Everyone was drunk. The girl must have walked into the wrong room. It was just a misunderstanding. Ethan's angry. That's all. He's exaggerating. That's not true. I fought to keep my voice steady. They got me drunk on purpose. Then they took Angela into Jason's room. She fought back, she did, but she couldn't escape. Jason chimed in calmly. Do I look like someone who could rape a woman? Look at me. I only have one leg. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. My brother is overreacting. And our parents helping me rape his girlfriend. Absurd. Unbelievable. Officer, it's true, I shouted. Angela, tell them. The officer turned to her. Miss, what happened? Angela was trembling. Her eyes slowly focused. Then, softly but clearly, she said, rape. They raped me. My mother laughed nervously. Oh, come on, officer. The girl's in shock. Of course she'd say things like that. She's not well, just like Ethan. This isn't real. This is just trauma talking. I yelled, you're lying. You're all lying. A female officer took Angela for an exam. When she came back, she handed over a report and shook her head. No evidence of sexual assault, the officer said. I'm sorry, but without physical proof, we can't file charges. Your family, this is a private matter. Try resolve it yourselves. They're lying. Look at her injuries. I screamed, but the officers ignored me. As they left, my mother whispered to one of them, Officer, take care. My husband, Mr. Chan, will treat you to drinks next time. My stomach dropped. Her voice, it was too familiar, too casual. How did they know each other? I turned back to my mother. Why? Why are you like this? I'm your son too. You actually called the cops on your own brother, she scoffed. Unbelievable. Jason sneered, still looking for evidence. You have no idea how much I planned this. Was this all premeditated? The thought chilled me to my bones. I took Angela and ran. We escaped that suffocating house and rented a small place in a poor part of town. We hid from the world. Angela was fragile. She had grown up in an orphanage. She had no parents, no one to turn to, and no one had ever truly loved me either. We held on to each other like broken pieces, trying to stay warm. At night she often woke up crying. She'd cling to me, terrified I would leave her, afraid I wouldn't want her anymore because of what happened. But how could I leave? I loved her. I had to keep reminding her of that, over and over again, that my love hadn't changed, that it never would. She slowly began to heal, smiled a little, laughed, once in a while. Life was just beginning to feel normal again. But today, I came home with groceries, ready to make her favorite pigeon soup. I opened the door and saw her standing on the edge of the balcony. Angela, what are you doing? She turned to me, eyes filled with tears. Ethan, I'm pregnant. With his child. My heart sank. It's not your fault, I said. It's my brother. Those three monsters. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. I love you. Do you hear me? I love you. Then, let's get rid of the baby, she whispered. Let's leave this city. Start over. Somewhere no one knows us. I walked toward her slowly, tears in my eyes. If you want to die, I'll go with you. If you jump, I won't survive this either. She looked stunned. I sat beside her on the balcony, looked into her eyes. If you ever die, I'll follow you. No, Ethan, she cried. I don't want you to die. Then let's live, I said. Together. She nodded, sobbing, and clung to me, as if she never wanted to let go. There was something in her eyes when she looked at me, a kind of forced calm. But she smiled, and I smiled back, finally allowing myself to breathe. My heart, which had been hanging by a thread, settled. At least for now, she was alive. And being alive, that's everything. For safety reasons, I decided to take Angela to the hospital for the abortion. It was far safer than taking pills, and much less damaging to the body. A few days passed, and then the day came. That morning, I gently held her face in my hands, kissed her forehead softly, and packed up our things. We took a taxi to the hospital. The corridors were crowded, patients, families, nurses rushing around. I paced outside the exam room as she went in for her prenatal checkup, which is required before the procedure to assess the pregnant woman's condition. She came out holding the report, her face dark and unhappy. I rushed to her, took her hand, and gave it a reassuring pat. The abortion was scheduled for the afternoon. Since she had to fast for 6 hours before the procedure, I took her to a small noodle shop across from the hospital. She sat quietly, watching me eat alone. I slurped a mouthful of noodles and wiped the sweat from my forehead, when I suddenly heard a voice that froze me in place. "Ethan, you actually came here. I raised you, and you don't even talk to me before running away from home. You think I'm not your mother?" I turned slowly. It was my mother standing there, arms crossed, fury radiating from her. My father was behind her, his eyes narrowing as he stared at Angela. "I don't have a mother like you," I said coldly. "Oh, I'm so angry," she screamed. "This son is completely out of control, doesn't even recognize his own mother." She jabbed her finger at my face. "Come see this, everyone. A child like this doesn't even acknowledge his mother. What's the point of me living?" Heads started turning. Diners glanced up, and soon people gathered at the entrance. "Hey young man, you won't even recognize your mother. Have a conscience." An old woman with a bowl of noodles looked at me with disgust. "That's today's youth, heartless. Better to raise a dog," I snapped. "What the hell are you all talking about? You don't know anything. Just pointing fingers, acting like saints." My blood boiled. These people didn't know a damn thing. All they cared about was their cheap moral superiority. I wanted to scream at all of them people who never lived your pain, who sit on their high horses and play judge. They deserve lightning to strike them, not praise. With so many people siding with her, my mother's voice got louder, her pride swelling. "Fine, you don't want to come home. Then I'm taking my daughter-in-law back." Then she saw the pregnancy report on the table. Her eyes widened. "Old man, look, that girl is pregnant. It must be Jason's child." I froze. My stomach turned. I grabbed Angela's hand and stood up. We had to leave now. If we stayed a second longer, they'd try to take her by force. God knows how much my mother wanted Jason married off with a kid. "Why'd you come here?" she barked. "To abort my eldest grandson." She latched on to Angela's arm and wouldn't let go. I tried to pull them apart, but my dad grabbed me from behind. We struggled all the way outside the restaurant as more and more people gathered to watch the drama unfold. I yanked hard to heart. My mother fell to the ground shrieking. "My son hit me. He hit me." She wailed and flailed on the floor as my father helped her up. The crowd gasped. The accusations started flying. A few young men surrounded me, scolding me. I didn't care. I just needed Angela to escape. "Angela, run. They'll lock you up. Don't worry about Mile, be fine." She knew I was serious. Her eyes filled with tears, but she trusted me. I made most of the decisions in our life, and now I was begging her, ordering her to run. She bolted. My mother sobbed louder, yelling that I was a heartless adopted son who hit his own mother. The crowd buzzed with outrage. The young men began to shove me. I held on to my parents' legs as they tried to chase after Angela. No matter how they beat me, punched me, or cursed me, I wouldn't let go. I don't remember how long it went on. Eventually, someone managed to drag me away, and they beat me until I vomited blood. Through all of it, my mother stood with her hands on her hips, telling the crowd how hard she worked to raise me, how good she was to me, and how I had betrayed her. She said it with such emotion. Some people actually believed her. Everyone whispered, stared, judged on UNFILIA. Evil son. Monster. I leaned against a wall, shaking, bleeding, and silent. I glanced at my parents, who were still putting on their performance, then turned and limped away. Halfway down the street, a kid spat at me. "Bad person." I clenched my fists, then I let go. I didn't say a word. I just left. When I got back to the small rental apartment Angela and I shared, I found her curled up on the cold bathroom floor. Angela. I shook her gently. She was pale, her forehead damp with sweat. "Ethan, I took some pills. I didn't want that beast's child in me, not even for a minute. It hurts so much." She slowly woke up, reached up, and touched my bruised face. She tried to smile. "Your face, it's so ugly now." I looked at her, heart aching, and pulled her into my arms. I cried. All I ever wanted was to take her to the hospital, to make the abortion as painless and safe as possible. But I wasn't there, and she suffered alone. "Ethan, can we get married soon?" she whispered. Double quotes. Yes. I nodded, sobbing. "Just rest for 2 days, then we'll leave this place. Didn't you always want to see the sea? We'll Go to Zion, we'll get married there. Ethan, I love you. I really do. I love you too. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We held each other, sobbing. There was so much pain, but we had each other. It felt like being lost in the dark, with just one tiny candle. Even if the flame was small, it gave us hope. That Angela was weak after the abortion. I wanted her to stay in bed for a few days, but she insisted we had to leave the city as soon as possible. She couldn't stay another minute. I couldn't change her mind. So I agreed and bought the nearest train ticket to Xiamen. The day before our trip, I went to the supermarket to get fruit, noodles, and snacks for the journey. When I came back, Angela was gone. I called her. Her phone was still on the bedside table. I searched every room. Nothing. She wouldn't just vanish, not like this. Not without her phone. Something was wrong. Something terrible. Panic crashed over me. My knees buckled. I couldn't breathe. It had to be my parents. Who else would do this? I grabbed a half-meter-long fruit knife from the kitchen, shoved it into my backpack, and stormed to Jason's house. I was ready to kill him, or die trying. I pounded on his door. No one answered. I shouted, kicked, but nothing. Then I saw the locksmith ad taped in the corridor. I called. He came and started picking the lock, but paused, eyeing my face suspiciously. Are you the owner? He asked. Don't waste my time. I snapped. Call the police if you want, I'll call them myself. I shoved $100 in his hand. That shut him up. He left. I rushed inside and tore the place apart, every bedroom, every drawer. Nothing. My chest was tight with dread. Where the hell was Angela? I kept searching and finally pried open a locked cabinet. Inside, I found some cash which I ignored. Dan next to it. An old, yellowed piece of white paper. I stood there, frozen, just staring. It was a simple sales one. I saw the agreement. My hands trembled. My dad's name was on it, and another man's too. But the content, everything, it was about me. I was the transaction. That document confirmed it. I was bought by my so-called parents when I was just 2 years old. Suddenly, it all made sense. The favoritism, the emotional neglect, the way they always treated Jason like royalty and me like I was just ... extra. I wasn't their biological son. No wonder they were so biased. No wonder they made me feel like I didn't belong. It was never in my head. It was real. I was never their child. Just a tool, a long-term worker, a battery they could drain dry. And then it clicked. When they found out I had a girlfriend, why did they urge me to bring her home? It wasn't out of joy for me. No, they had a plan. A disgusting, calculated plan. They wanted to hand Angela over to Jason, so their golden son could continue the family line. This was all premeditated. A long-laid trap. I stared down at the transaction's address. Leona Village. A memory stirred. My mother once mentioned it, calling it the rural place where they'd grown up. Maybe, just maybe, they were hiding there. No, I can't even call her mother anymore. They're not my parents. Not after this. They're monsters. I crumpled the contract into a ball, fists clenched and breath shaky. There was no time to dwell, no time to rage. I opened my phone, searched the map for Lotus Leona Village. It was more than 130 kilometers from the city center. I didn't care. I booked an expensive online taxi without hesitation. Angela, please, just hold on. Don't give up. I'm coming for you. It was already dark when we arrived at the entrance of the village. I paid the fare and jumped out of the car, my backpack slung over my shoulders. I ran into the village and used Jason's family name to ask around. At first, the villagers were suspicious. They asked who I was. But when I told them I was Jason's brother, Ethan, their faces changed. They told me where the family house was. Their place was tucked away in a bamboo forest, secluded and surrounded by silence. I wandered for ages, asking anyone I could, until finally, I found it. A small two-story villa, with lights on in both floors. A nearly 3-meter-high wall stood around it. My breath hitched. I crouched low, crept toward the wall, and with the help of a dead tree stump, I climbed high enough to peek over. And what I saw shattered me. Angela was tied up, her arms fastened to the iron bars on the window beneath the eaves. Her face was twisted in pain. That old witch Jason's mother stood over her, holding a belt, whipping her again and again. Jason and another elderly brute stood nearby, watching like it was a show. I told you to abort my grandson, you damned woman, she screeched. How dare you try to kill my grandson? Jason, go. She's tied up now. Get her pregnant again. Let her bear the Johnson family's child. Angela's mouth was stuffed with a rag. Blood covered her arms, her legs, her flesh was raw. She watched in terror as Jason began unbuckling his belt, a cane in one hand, his eyes filled with something vile.